Greetings, Patreon. I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And welcome back to Geekvolution After Dark. It is After Dark. It sure is. Because we would hate to false advertise.
Wouldn't After Dark be day?
It means After Dark means after it becomes dark.
Yeah, after the darkness has fallen.
But you're right. You know, this reminds me of a question that is not on my list, but I'm gonna open with this, Eric.
Okay.
This will not count as one of the things on my list.
Okay.
Unless we end up having to talk about this for an obscene amount of time.
Okay.
How come in Gremlins we're never told how far after midnight you can
the clock
feed
reset?
them? Yeah. Don't feed them after midnight. Okay, but 6 o'clock in the morning is after midnight. In fact, every minute that is not midnight is after midnight if you're looking at it past midnight.
Is it possible that you can't feed them until 1 p.m.? Until the clock changes over and you're on a new cycle of numbers?
Well, who knows?
I should have put that on my thing.
They don't
I have
tell
a whole
you
thing
that.
about why 12 p.m. and 12 a.m. is dumb.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. You can say that for next time.
Yeah, I will.
Sure.
It's not on my list.
Well, patrons, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for your support. We sure appreciate it. And it is time for some more insane madness, insane, slightly drunken madness.
I am far more out of it than I've been the past 2 videos.
That's right. That's right. We just went out to the bar we like to frequent, T3. It's an arcade bar. And we did a little bit of drinking, and I'm going to do a slightly more drinking.
You had one drink. I had 3
I had one. I'm completely normal, except for my late crazy, because honestly, alcohol doesn't do as much to me as being up late and being a childlike excited about being up too late.
And I'm a lightweight.
Are you?
I mean, I think so.
You know, honestly, I might hold my liquor slightly better than you do. But I think it's probably practice, because I drink socially.
Mm-hmm. I don't.
Quite a bit.
I don't drink often. I drink way more now since I've moved to Kansas since I lived in Florida. Because I drink with you occasionally, I'll drink with CJ and things like that.
Have I told you my shot record?
Yes.
And my shot record was the first night I ever had shots.
Isn't that on video?
And I've never gone that far again. That was not my record.
Oh, okay.
That was not my record, but that is on video. Well, it was. I don't know if that's still around, because I think that was a live show before we could do live shows on Geekvolution. I should turn the clock on. I honestly haven't done that.
Okay.
But anyway, because usually we do that when we get into our. Yeah, thank you. It is an hour. He just wanted to double check and make sure that we weren't going to do this for 3 hours, because he would be asleep. There's a pillow right there, though. So
I don't sleep super well when I've drunk.
Really?
I drink quite a bit. Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
I do that like it's hard to fall asleep, and then you fall asleep and it could be for 2 minutes or it could be for 5 hours, but you're not sure because your eyes keep opening.
My shot record.
I do that.
Was my bachelor party.
Oh.
And my
Did you have a crazy bachelor party?
I did. I had a crazy bachelor party. I went to my first stand-up comedy show.
Oh.
And the stand-up comedian gave me a shot.
Mm-hmm.
During his set.
Mm-hmm.
I got called out because it was my birthday. Or my birthday. What am I talking about? I got called out because I was getting married. It was not my birthday, and I was getting married.
Are you sure you're not drunk?
No, I'm not. But I did. My birthday was a month after that. It was real close to my birthday. No, I got called out because I was getting married, and
wait, that can't be right.
And he did,
because you had your anniversary like a couple of weeks ago, and
it was a couple months after that.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, okay.
My birthday's in August. We got married the beginning of June, so a couple months. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, my father-in-law kept buying shots all night long, and we went to a couple of different places.
Having met him, I can see that. And
I just ended up drinking too much because I was being polite, and he kept buying things and handing them to me, and so I kept drinking them. And buddy, I lost count after a dozen, and it was probably somewhere around 17 or 18.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is madness, and I was just completely plastered, and I hadn't done much drinking up until that point. I was only 24. I wasn't a big drinker. I'm not a big drinker now, but and I don't, and you know, you'll attest to this. I don't get drunk.
You'll drink like a beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes a couple of things, but anyway. So let's go ahead and get into our topics for this evening. Would you like to go first or second, sir?
I'll go first.
All right, let's do it. Here we go.
So my first topic is a news article.
Let's see if we can get through all 5. Here we go.
My first topic is a news article about a national hero, or who should be a national hero. Now, as I read through this article, he may start to sound more and more like crazy, or he may start as a crazy person. It's the principle of the thing that makes him a hero, not the actions of the man. If my phone will load, the internet is not great.
But it's what you do that defines you. You want to make sure that it's connected to the modem and not the extender when you're in this room. You have to keep track of that because certain places in this house aren't great for where that is. And
my phone resets like when I move from room to room. Mm-hmm. Anyways, okay. It's been described as the first date from hell, and it ended in a lawsuit. A man from Texas sued a woman this week for $17.31, the price of a cinema ticket. After she irritated him by...
How much are the court fees?
After she irritated him by texting during a movie. Brandon Vesmar, 37 of Austin, claimed Crystal Cruz... Wow, Crystal Cruz was a threat to civilized society.
Oh, no, she's a supervillain. Listen to that name, Crystal Cruz.
After she used her phone to read and send text messages at least 10 to 20 times in the first 15 minutes of a 3D showing of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It was kind of a first date from hell, said he told the Austin American Statesman, saying she started about 15 minutes after the movie began. This is one of my biggest pet peeves. Mr. Vizmar asked Miss Cruz to stop, but she refused. He suggested she step outside to use her phone, after which she left the cinema and never came back.
How is this a legal issue? How in any way whatsoever?
The 35-year-old woman also drove away in her car in which she had driven them both, leaving him without a ride to home. A few days later, he messaged her asking for the price of a ticket. But she refused because he took me out of the date.
She's not even of the obvious generation that people would stereotype as the people that would do that. Like, she's of my generation, and she's doing that.
Now, she said this is crazy, I'm not a bad woman, I just went on a date. James Gunn tweeted, why stop suing? She deserves jail time.
That's the best.
Mr. Vesmar filed the petition in a small claims court in Travis County. It's small claims, that's why it's like Judge Judy.
No, I know what it is. I still don't see how you can sue for that.
The texting was a direct violation of the cinema's policy, and the woman adversely affected Mr. Vesmar's viewing experience.
That's true,
and that of other patients, the petition states.
But then you take it up with the movie theater, not the law.
The damages sought are modest. The principle is important as defendant's behavior is a threat to civilized society. The pair were reunited at the cinema on Thursday in an attempt to sort out the dispute. They just didn't work out, she told him during the reunion. She apologized and handed him money, asking him to just leave this alone. Mr.
They settled out of court.
Mr. Rasmar accepted the apology and said he would withdraw the lawsuit. But he also said he would donate the money to charity.
The $18.
So that man, while maybe taking things too far, maybe perhaps a little crazy, national hero.
That's hysterical.
Yep.
$18.
$17.35.
Ah, yes.
Completely different.
Man, that's like just turn your phone off. I don't know what to say. But at least they were going to a 3D showing, so when he was distracted by the phone, 30% less illumination.
That's true.
Than normal. So it wouldn't have been as obnoxious or distracting. Although, ratio-wise, I guess it still would be, because you have less illumination looking at the screen and less illumination in general, so they'd kind of cancel each other out.
I have been told by someone, the person that brought this to my attention, that she said that that like her friend was going through like a bad breakup and she was like talking to...
So it's like important.
Yeah. Here's the thing I'm going to say. That is the excuse every girl gives about every text message. Her friend is always going through something terrible. No, just walk outside. Just be like, hey, something important has come up. I need to step outside.
The polite thing to do would be to get up and also, like, I don't know, am I too old-fashioned when I say... Walk outside, and if it's an important conversation, call her on the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, she might keep you on the phone.
Explain to the person she was like, hey, something important's come up, so I'm gonna step outside for a minute.
Yeah, and then you talk to her for 5 minutes, and then you say, I'm on a date and I'm being rude to this guy. But sometimes texting is the more efficient way of communication, and sometimes it's really inefficient.
Yeah.
You know, texting is what you do when someone, and I mean like texting or Facebook posts or whatever it is, or Facebook Messenger, whatever it is. Texting is what you do when you need to send a real quick message to someone, or if you're having like a conversation like over some time and you're not expecting an immediate response, or it's someone that you don't like. Yeah, where you know on the internet, but you don't really know them personally, so you're not going to call them on the phone, or you don't know them you know what I mean? Because we all have those relationships now, or I think a lot of us do.
Now, I mean, and how many of the text messages he sent must have been just like, oh, that sucks. Oh, man, I'm sorry he did that.
Yeah.
Now, I've also been told that he like, started messaging her parents and stuff and things like that. That wasn't in the article, but I've been told that that's the thing that happened. Like, he took it too far, but it's the principle of the matter. National hero. We should have a holiday for him. He took a stand. Goddammit.
What would have made that story even better is if they like really hit it off because of this.
Yeah.
And they got together.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if they actually went to court and then they hit it off in the courtroom.
Yeah, that would be great.
Or just you know we settled it, and this is a very funny thing.
That would be such a wonderful meet cute.
It would. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's exactly what that is. So I want to use the $17, what was it, 30 cents?
35 cents.
As a segue to my very interesting and unlikely money situation this week.
Okay.
Because that is almost the exact amount of money that I got from a check today.
Which also was involved in a legal matter.
It was, but is the second time that a small but not insignificant amount of money has landed in my lap, and the first time money landed in my lap, it was almost literally. So I want to start with that time, and then I'll get to the check that was over a legal matter that I didn't even know about. So the first thing was, a couple days ago, my wife and I were at a thrift store, and I bought some pants. I bought these pants! I bought these maroon, kind of velvety pants. I like these pants. I don't think this actually goes with this color very well, but I like these pants.
No, it worked out yesterday. We were in the green shirt.
Yeah, that was better. But anyway, I guess I got kind of colorblind today. It's not important. I got these pants, and I put them on when I got home because I wanted to see what they look like. I've never bought like a weird colored pair of pants like that, and I was very excited about it. So I put my pants on, and a few hours later, I reached into my pocket, and I discovered a wad of cash that had been left in the pants when somebody donated it to this thrift store. And I thought that I had maybe put that money in there myself from earlier, because I actually I actually forgot to give my wife your rent money.
Oh,
and
really?
For a second I thought it was that. But it couldn't have been, because those were the pants I was wearing, and I would have put that was in my wallet, so there's no way that would have happened.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
That may make you uncomfortable right now.
About where the money came from?
No.
Okay.
So you bought the pants.
Right.
And you wore them.
I wore the pants.
Have you washed the pants?
No.
Because
I probably should have.
Theoretically, if there's money in it and the money looks good, they also did not wash the pants.
That's a really good point you're making. I didn't think of that. And like, I guess when you buy, well, this is uncomfortable. People are gonna think that I'm like kind of dirty and wrong. I didn't even think of that. I mean, I guess I have the stupid assumption that the clothes get washed when they sell them to you.
I don't.
But maybe I shouldn't.
Before they put it up
Maybe
on the
I
rack.
shouldn't make that assumption. Yeah.
If the money was fine.
The money was fine, yeah. But I mean, like, it may have had some water damage, but was there long enough you wouldn't have really noticed it?
I don't know.
Well, thanks for bringing that up. Let's just go on to some other topic. No, so I had $57 in my pants, which was the exact amount of money that I need for a piece of memorabilia that is more expensive than I wanted to pay for it, and I was probably going to drop the money for anyway. It was really nice that suddenly I'm basically getting this for free. There is a exclusive to San Diego Comic-Con Tick Pop from the new show. That's the new costume, not the old costume. Because they dramatically changed that costume. Oh, that comes out in a few weeks. I'm so excited about it. Yeah, middle of August. Oh, late August, like 20 something. It's gonna be great.
I guess August is after July.
And buddy, that is all we will do for a couple of days. Because like as soon as that drops, I will just be binging that until it's done.
Oh, shit. When does Defenders come out?
It's close, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is pretty damn close.
It's gotta be real soon.
Yeah. And it's funny because it doesn't seem like people are really talking about that. We'll look it up. I'm not sure right off. Okay. Anyway, let me finish this story. So no, you're fine. So Tick Pop, it's exclusive to San Diego Comic-Con. I'm not going to Comic-Con. The only way I can get it is to pay too much from somebody that has one on eBay that they will send to you as soon as the day they're allowed to sell it
San Diego Comic-Con
comes up.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm going to get that. But then today, so that's exciting. And when does that happen? It just almost literally fell in my lap. It came out of my pocket through a pair of pants that I should have washed. The second money, wad of cash, if you will, that dropped in my lap was in the form of a check. They came in the mail for $18 and some odd cents. And apparently, there was a lawsuit against a telemarketing company that tried to steal money out of people's bank accounts, and I was, unbeknownst to me, one of the victims of this assault on a bank account.
It must have been like a Superman 3 situation, right? Where they're just taking off like fractions of a penny.
Yeah, and they, but I guess more than that, because I got $18, or maybe just, I mean, I guess it could have been a situation sort of like that, but I guess the idea is they just split probably the winnings amongst everybody that was apparently affected. So anyway, they got brought to court, and I was one of the recipients of the winnings of that court case. So I made like almost $90 just sitting around.
You know, it's interesting because
$80.
My ex-mother-in-law had a thing where she had Chinese drywall. I don't know if you heard about this, but there was a lot of houses that were built that had Chinese drywall, and they were bad for you, and like something with fumes.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she
was this like in the 80s?
No, this was like
this
3 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And she was about like a couple of months past when she discovered it. When they discovered that this is what they had in their house, they were a couple months past. You like cut off to be in a class action lawsuit. You didn't even know, and you got in on it.
No, right. Yeah, that was what I couldn't think of. A class action lawsuit.
Yeah. I'm 3 sheets to the wind. I got class action lawsuit just under my belt.
So that happened. I'm waiting for the third thing, because things tend to come in threes. I'm waiting for the next thing. I guess technically you could count my not having to pay. I guess you could, and this is a lot less, but I guess you could technically count my not having to pay for my drink at the bar tonight. That might ultimately be the third thing.
Oh man, that's
because that's already happened. Yeah, man, the universe, and it's a significant drop in amount every time too. It's 60 to 18 to like 8.5.
You had one drink. It wasn't 8.5. It was like 6, right?
Although
you had a fancy drink.
I don't know how much that one cost. Maybe it was just 6.5. I think it's more. I think it's maybe around there. But anyway, I digress. Yeah. So, 45 minutes left on the clock, sir.
So my
I'm drinking Rolling Rock. This is not the best beer.
Is it for the pain?
But we
I don't hate it.
It's just okay, but it is kind of watered down. Am I right?
It's like a middle of the road thing where like I'm like well, I can't dislike this. It's not great.
At the price, it tastes better, if that makes any sense.
Well,
and the fact that I can buy
have you had
6 of these for $5, this is cold.
Oh, it is cold?
Yeah.
Is that better?
I mean, my first one was cold too.
It's not much better.
It's the only way I've had it, so yeah.
No, I'm not a big beer guy.
Because it was on the counter when you had one, but my first one was cold. I guess.
Yeah, Batmania. Watch for Batmania. I'll be drinking.
You'll see some Rolling Rock. No, I got that because it's the AVGN beer. That's what he's always drinking.
And it was like $10.
And I've never tried it, and I've watched AVGN for a long time, and we'll have
as you will find out soon.
Or that might already be up.
Is that video gone?
By the time
this goes up.
this video is being recorded a couple of weeks before it drops.
Go back to the AVGN.
Just for the record,
the movie.
We shoot these things early, and we will have shot this 2 weeks. This is the Cap and Eric from the past. Hi, future.
Go
Hello,
back.
People of
go
the
back
future.
to the AVGN movie. Rewind, and
Do you
you'll
think
see
these people have holodecks yet?
No.
Is that no? Okay.
But go back to the AV. But maybe in the future, when they have holodecks, someone will come back and watch this video.
You're not saying it right.
But go back and watch the AVGN He Made Me Watch. If you have not watched it, because you'll find out what the AVGN nerd Cap is.
Yeah, I know.
He knows it like he knows Star Trek.
I really want to think I don't know it that well, but I don't know. What is your second topic, sir?
My second topic is Ghostbusters a salvageable franchise at this point in time?
Ooh, that's a great question!
Yep.
Now when you say at this point in time, do we mean is it salvageable if you try to do it tomorrow, or is it ever salvageable?
I mean at this point in time, how long is it before it is salvageable?
Because I have heard you say multiple times it needs a decade.
I've heard you say that.
Have I said that?
Yeah, I
thought that was the thing you said first.
No, you said first.
We spend way too much time.
Yeah, we do.
I don't remember. Boy, it's tough. I don't think
they did the thing that you can't do with a fictional franchise. They politicized it. The problem that Ghostbusters is in right now is that they made their last movie, and it's not even the movie itself.
Yeah.
It was everything around the movie. They made it so fucking political
that now when a lot of people think about Ghostbusters at all, they're thinking controversy, they're thinking they're thinking liberal agenda, they're thinking
and it's now a thing where if
people pushing
if they make another Ghostbusters and they have no females, or they have one female, or even if it's a split team, people will complain about it, or will think too much into it, or read into it too much, and it's I think we are a good ways away before Ghostbusters as a theatrical, maybe even as a TV property.
I don't think so. TV though. I think
you don't think so.
If you make it for children.
Well, and there's that Ecto-Force thing which is supposed to be coming out.
I don't know if that's still coming out. I don't think that'll probably happen. But I'm kind of surprised that Ghost Corps still exists.
Yeah, me too. I would have thought all of them have lost their jobs after that movie bombed.
Because that logo, at least, is still showing. Maybe they're just using that logo.
Yeah, they just lose that logo.
That logo is still showing up in the Burnham comics.
You've got contacts. You could ask Burnham.
I could. I don't know if you could tell me anything.
Because I
haven't talked to Burnham in a couple of years now.
I listened to an interview with him shortly before that movie came out. It was a double interview podcast.
Would he say anything about it?
Well, this is before the movie came out. It was a double interview podcast where they were interviewing him about writing Tobin's Spirit Guide, which is a beautiful book and you should buy it. And they also interviewed the guy that did the tie-in book to the movie, the Spirits and Where to Find Them, or whatever.
Which looked really cool.
It did look cool, and the way he talked about it sounded cool. And
I told you about that. I found it at a bookstore. Yeah.
No, you found it at the library, didn't you? Or was that?
No, I found it at a bookstore.
Okay.
Did I tell you about this?
Yeah, that's listed in the fiction section.
Where it's filed is it takes Gilbert and whatever the other character's last name is. I can't remember right now. And the book lists them as the actual authors. So it is filed alphabetically, like they actually wrote it, and that cracked me up.
That's pretty awesome. But it was a dual podcast interview with those two. Like it was like 2 segments. And in that, Burnham talked about what Ghost Corps would allow him to do, what they wouldn't allow him to do, what they wouldn't allow him to do, but then did let him do, and things like that. So he's interacting with them quite a bit doing the Ghostbusters comic.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows what's going on with them, it's him.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the comic series he's doing right now includes those characters.
Yeah.
So, but
I'm sure that was his idea.
Yeah, but he's doing great stuff with it.
You showed me that one panel. It looks funny.
Very funny. Yeah, they come through, and Gilbert, I think, is like
Ghost Hell.
It's like, is it Ghost Hell? And I can't think of that other character's name right now. And she goes, "Would that just be Hell?" And
it's the one you liked.
Is it? Is it Holtzman?
I think
it is Holtzman that says that. Yeah. I couldn't think of the other main character.
I think we ever talked about this on the channel, but we watched that movie together.
We did, yeah.
I'd never seen it.
For Eric's first time
watching it. And we watched it together very quickly.
I showed it to him.
I rented it, and we watched
shortly
it.
after you got here, yeah.
Piece of shit. one of the least funny things I've ever seen. Garbage.
I liked it more in the theater than I did later.
I think that was the first experience you had watching something with me. You're like, oh, things are worse when I watch them with you.
It's one of those things where my expectations were so low that I was surprised by the fact that I liked anything in it at all.
I was surprised when I laughed at any of the jokes.
I discovered an actress I liked that I'd never seen in anything because. I can't think of people's names right now, but the actress that plays Holtzman I thought was really funny.
I only remember 2 jokes I thought were funny. One of them is they have your book and they have your book on audio, but I didn't listen to it because I can read.
I know how to read.
That one's funny.
And we bring that up a lot.
Yeah, that one is legitimately funny.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
The other one is at the end when they rip off the ending. No. Well, kind of, yeah.
Because that's funny.
Well, when they rip off the ending of Poltergeist and they go in the other dimension, they come back, and like, 40 years have passed, and the president is a plant.
Our president is a plant.
That's funny. I think I would have thought the Jaws joke was funnier, other than the fact that I'd listened to a couple reviews, and they'd all talked about how that was like the one funny joke in the movie.
Oh.
Where it's like, you're being the mayor from Jaws. I'm not the mayor from Jaws. Don't call me that. I think theoretically that's funny, but I already knew that joke was coming. So
the movie is too improvised. It's not paced well.
Which is weird because the original movie is improvised, obviously.
You're right, but there's not enough structure in the first place, and it's like it doesn't even feel like sometimes you get into a scene and we know where the scene is going to go.
I mean, my biggest thing with that movie, and I said this to you while we were watching it. And I've talked to Vince about it. My biggest thing is, who's the guy that plays Ray? Ray Stantz?
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd is a legitimate crazy person who believes in ghosts and aliens and things like that. And so when he's working on Ghostbusters, he has a sense of joy and belief in this stuff and an interest in this stuff. You don't need necessarily belief, but he has a real, genuine interest in the paranormal. No one on this movie had that. No one was excited to tell a movie about this mythology and these ghosts and things like that.
When you listen to Paul Feig and some of the other people that worked on that movie talk behind the scenes, but especially him, it's a lot of like obsession with the tech and with kind of technobabble.
Yeah, no one working in that movie was excited about.
Yeah, okay, great. You know what a Faraday cage is, but like.
But they don't know what I can never remember. I can't remember what it is. It's like a electronic noise something. It's neon something. There's a very specific thing that happens in paranormal phenomenons. It's also referred to as a white noise. They make up a word for a phenomenon that exists, or they make up a term for a phenomenon that exists. That drove me nuts. No one on that movie actually cared about the paranormal. And that affected that movie.
But I don't know. I don't really want to just sit here and review that movie.
No.
But as far as your question goes, I don't know what you could do with it like in 2 years that where people wouldn't still be really leery of it. And I don't think at this point it would really be smart to even try to tie it to the original,
or as
old as those actors are getting, and like,
or to even do what the comic franchise is trying to do, where we just ignore it and we do Ghostbusters 3, like that also. I don't think you can do Ghostbusters 3 after.
I don't think you can do it, and
after Harold Ramis has passed.
And when it didn't come together in the first place, it's sure not going to now. But
Ernie Hudson will do it.
Yeah,
he'll be there tomorrow.
Well, no,
we could make Ghostbusters 3 and Ernie Hudson will be there tomorrow.
And one of the things that I took away from that movie was with Janine's cameo. I was like, why didn't we make a Ghostbusters 3 where she's in charge? Because she looks amazing, and she could totally be running everything. Like, it'd be really cool if especially if you're like, we want a. We want more female presence in this, or we want like a whole female team. It'd be really cool if it was Janine passing the torch. Or just have her even put on a suit and be in charge. Like, I felt like she could do it.
Well, I mean, that movie begins at agenda.
Yeah.
Like, there's this whole thing about how before the Amazing Spider-Man movies turned over to the Marvel, that woman that keeps saying things that no one understands about the Spider-Man movies, the woman who said that after 2 movies they were taking it back, and the woman that's saying that Venom is tied to the Spider-Man films.
Right.
That woman had a project that was, I believe, what is now Black Cat and Silver Sable. It was called The Glass Ceiling, and it was going to be an all-female film using Spider-Man characters, and then that fell through, and then she just stapled that on the Ghostbusters. Like
really?
That movie starts with agenda. It doesn't start with, we want to make a really cool, fun movie. We like these actresses. What if we did that? It starts with, fuck all of you. We're gonna make an all-female movie, and that was the beginning of that was the genesis of that project.
And the problem with that being the impetus is that you end up with a movie that feels real by committee, and that feels like it doesn't really have a vision beyond just that in the first place.
That is the only thing that movie has.
And we're gonna have comedians because because Ghostbusters was with comedians,
and
is because
one of the least funny people on the planet,
and because that's what that director makes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for a while, it was rumored that it was supposed to be a backdoor sequel to Bridesmaids. Like, somehow or other, they would be in the same universe or something. And we were lucky that didn't happen. But for the longest time, the Wikipedia article had it listed as a backdoor sequel to Bridesmaids.
That's weird.
And I don't know where that rumor came from.
I mean, backdoor sequel could be anything, like... It could have been a single small reference that suggests, like, oh, it's the same company
but they didn't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it could have ended up being like a 21 Jump Street, Men in Black situation.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, and that's the only thing that movie had. Like,
it was uninspired because that was the place we started from. I think you could have simultaneously started from, here's a creative way to reboot this, and we're actually thinking about the ideas and the flavor of comedy we want and that kind of thing, and also all-female team at the same time. I mean, I really do think you could do that. There had been talk about that for a long time, and there were certain actresses that were considered that if you made it, I don't know, if you made it like action stars who are also good comedians, I think it could have been really fun.
Well, the original cast that apparently was considered, or like actresses that talked about being considered, were all better picks than the people that ended up in the film.
I think so too.
It was like Emma Stone.
There was talk about Elijah Dushku, and
Elijah Dushku, Emma Stone,
idea.
And someone else.
So once again, for the record, if I have to say this, because this is really what I think about. The problem is not that it's women.
No, that's a shitty movie. And the only thing it has going for it is,
I think I still like it slightly.
Tried to make a political statement,
and so much of it is. I guess we are just reviewing this movie again.
Yeah.
But anyway,
again, I've never reviewed it.
So much of it is just the really typical superhero origin story.
Well,
and where we have to have an explanation for everything. I mean, one of the things that drives me really crazy is our characters are not allowed to come up with anything on their own and use their ingenuity.
Yep.
So somebody has to spray paint the symbol on the side of a wall in a really forced, bizarre kind of moment where somebody says no ghost, so he comes up with it. That's really bad.
The problem is they started in a political place. They started in,
and also they hate the name Ghostbusters and didn't come up with it themselves.
Yeah.
And don't want to run with that.
The problem is they started in a political place at the genesis of the film. They were trying to make a political statement that is a dumb political statement. They're trying to make a political statement, and then that became controversy around the film. And then after the film released, they endorsed a political candidate, regardless of how you feel about politics or the political candidates or anything.
It's kind of ridiculous for a movie.
Comedy film, dumb as that movie was.
It's a film. How does a movie endorse a candidate?
And a movie as stupid as that has no business endorsing anything political, but they've made that franchise, at least in film,
there was
radioactive.
anything especially progressive about that movie beyond just the fact that its leads are female.
And they're all kind of terrible people. Like, I think they unintentionally really damaged that brand moving forward.
I think so too.
By politicizing it and trying to make it a statement.
So I don't know how long.
If you're gonna make a statement, make it good.
I don't know how
long
make
it shitty.
It will take, but I do think you could go back to making it a kid's property for a while and getting away from
something
that.
like a modern Real Ghostbusters.
Just 5 or 6 years of that, and then eventually it might even sort of feel to be like if that got popular. If you got if a Ghostbusters series got Ninja Turtles popular, you could come back with something that feels like an adaptation of that, but for everybody. I think you could do that.
Sure.
Maybe. But that's the best idea I have for how you would bring it back. Otherwise, I think it's got at least a decade.
Which is a bummer, because I think it's a great franchise with a lot of potential.
I think so too. And especially the globalization idea.
Yeah. Well, that seems to be the immediate idea everyone goes to, is the franchising of Ghostbusters.
If you came back, you almost should do the thing we're doing with Spider-Man, where you don't go to Origin again, and you just have it be like a franchised out thing that's been around for a long time. And maybe you even reference the original Ghostbusters, but you have it be a generation or two down the road, so some of them are either dead or they're just not involved
anymore.
If I
recall,
whatever.
In all three, you, me, and Matt's pitches when we did a Ghostbusters 3, it was all franchising, right?
Yeah. I think we
because that's just such the obvious place to go.
Well, and also part of the reason that I felt the need to go there was because that was always the talk for what they would have done with the third one.
Well, and the big thing that I got when I was reading Burnham...
And that's what Burnham did.
Yeah. Well, and the big thing I got from when I was reading Burnham's comics, I was like, this is the thing that's missing from Real Ghostbusters and Extreme Ghostbusters, which I like. I like both of those.
Yeah.
But the thing that's missing is, there's a political angle. And I don't mean in the way that I just said that the new film was politicized.
Yeah, you mean
there's a
business politics.
There's a bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Not politics. There's a bureaucracy and a satire of bureaucracy that I actually think is inherent in this property that a lot of adaptations don't carry over. And when you put it there, it feels more like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but there is a corporate political intrigue angle to Ghostbusters where we get a lot of comedy and satire from business and especially local politics having to work together, where you have a group that is providing a service but isn't controlled by the government, but the only way that service will get done is if the government cooperates with them. So and they get comedy mileage out of that. You would want to keep that as a as a major source of comedy. Okay, so let's move on, shall we? We don't have to talk about this very long. I kind of just want to make this statement on video somewhere.
Okay.
We have talked about this some. Anthony Mackie is destined to be my best friend. And I just want to throw that out there that I want Anthony Mackie to be my best friend, and I think
if you became friends with Anthony Mackie and Donald Logue, I would never see you again.
No, that's true, absolutely, dude. We would be the best trio, going out, hanging out.
Oh man, what if Anthony Mackie and Donald Logue were friends?
What if they weren't friends? What if they were the best? And every time we go get drinks, he says, "Got the check." I love Anthony Mackie, and I've looked at behind the scenes stuff, especially for Winter Soldier, and he is as much fun in all the footage that they shoot of him as he is when he's playing Falcon, and
he's fun in interviews.
He just seems like such a down to earth where he seems like a guy you'd want to pal around with, and I want to think that someday me and Anthony Mackie could be best friends.
That's fine. You can have Anthony Mackie. I'll get Donald Logue. I'll hang out with Donald Logue.
Yeah.
He seems a little bit more my speed.
Yeah, but you put the two of them together.
You know what Anthony Mackie would do? Anthony Mackie would jump out of the plane with you.
Yes, he would. Well, he clearly has done a lot of that kind of stunt work. He'd be real. Well, no, it'd be great to jump out of a plane with Anthony Mackie because then he'd push a button on his back and he'd have wings, and then we'd just fly around.
You do understand the movies are not real, yes?
I can dream. I'm dreaming about this.
What were we talking about the other day when we came up? Oh, I remember this. Never mind. It was a thing about both of us jumping out of a plane.
Yes.
And I was like, there was a thing we were talking about the other day.
Which still could happen.
It still could happen.
Yeah. So we've talked a long time about what in the world we would do for another landmark as far as subscribers go. Because if you're not familiar with this, back in... It's been since 2013 now. It's been 5 years. I jumped out of an airplane when we hit 10,000 subscribers, and we have now passed 25,000. And I was going to do something for that, and it fell through, and we just didn't come up with anything when that. We
tried
happened.
to do the musical episode, but
yeah, but I don't know. It's just
can't sing.
Right, and I kept writing shitty folk melodies, and it wasn't working out, and we couldn't get the bagpipes. Bagpipes were essential, and we just couldn't get those.
It's a Geekvolution. We're not saying it's a revolution. It's a Geekvolution.
Yeah, I was really hoping that you wouldn't That's the one song Eric wrote, and it was worse than anything else I had. But anyway, so we...
I'm terrible at writing lyrics.
So we decided at one point, maybe... Not decided. We talked about maybe at some point both jumping out of the plane. Because honestly, I didn't think Eric would do it. He said he would. And Eric's one of the only people I've ever met that would be willing to do that with me. So that could happen. Another jumping out of a plane. And we even talked about making it a scene for a future... project. Yeah, that's all I'll say. Yeah. But anyway, I gotta be real hush-hush about that.
Yeah.
I keep almost accidentally blowing.
That's why I almost stopped.
Have you noticed that? I keep almost blowing some very top secret plans that even Patreon I'm not ready.
That's why I almost stopped when I started talking about it. I was like, what was it that we were talking about? I was like, it was that.
We can't. Yeah, that's like. It's like we tell you we have to kill you kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, what's your next thing?
Okay, so my next thing is not a news article.
You think I have any shot with Anthony Mackie? Probably not.
Probably not.
Oh. Okay. Hey, babe, this looks like a job for an internet petition.
Oh shit.
What?
My phone has 10% battery left. I'm hoping I can read this news article before...
Quick, go get a pen and write it all down!
A report on Alex
Send it to my phone!
A report on Alex... Oh no, it's reloading. It's reloading. Okay, so this is another news article.
Maybe next time print them.
Yeah. I tried to charge my phone in the car. If there was not
you started charging it when we were 3.5 minutes away.
Okay, a report on Alex Jones' InfoWars claiming child sex slaves have been kidnapped and shipped to Mars is untrue, NASA told the Daily Beast on Thursday. There are no humans on Mars. There are no active rovers on Mars.
Let's slow down and set this up before you keep it. Let's slow this down.
I wasn't really going to read any more of this.
So, Alex Jones, who is, by all accounts, kind of a crazy person.
He does believe lizard people are running the world.
And
which has not been disproven.
It's also real hard to tell how much of what he says he actually believes and how much of it is just sensationalism. He's got a giant following. He makes a lot of money, and so he says outlandish things, and people click on them. And he's got all these crazy clickbait articles. He's got a radio show. So anyway,
clickbait radio show.
So this guy, and the president likes him, and so. He gets,
Does he?
a big,
Oh, okay.
I'll show you things.
Oh,
I'll show you things about that. Okay. Anyway, just remember, it's this show. The deal with Alex Jones is, he's obsessed with conspiracies.
Yes.
And anything where he can't immediately deduce how something has happened, with video or something that the media says, he immediately makes some kind of a leap and thinks that someone is hiding something, and then wherever his brain immediately goes, as far as a possible explanation, which is always the most outlandish thing you can think of, that's what he runs with. He also does a lot of reporting without reading entire articles or corroborating them or anything. And so that's how a thing like this happens. Now, when Eric brought it up to me, I was like, why do you want to talk about that? Of course he's saying stupid, crazy shit. But then NASA responded to it.
It's because it apparently got popular enough or got said enough that NASA felt the need to come out and say they do not have a secret child sex slave colony on Mars.
And this is the world we live in.
That NASA has to respond to something like this.
Dude, it's just... I have spent my life trying to come up with the craziest, most exaggerated, fun, silly, creative nonsense to put in books and stories, I like to have people riding on velociraptors and making food out of nowhere with their hands just out of nowhere, and I'm obsessed with alternate dimensions, and I can't create a world that is as insane as the one we live in now.
That someone can randomly say, by the way, NASA has a secret giant sex slave colony on Mars.
This should be a given.
And NASA has to respond and say, well, that's not true.
Now, the important thing to remember, of course, and I'm not saying I'm with Alex Jones on this, but if they were really doing that, that is still what they would say.
Obviously, that's what they would say.
That is what they would say.
They wouldn't say, "Oh, well, you caught us." they would say, well, no, we don't have a secret.
But you can't...
But meanwhile, they do, in fact, secretly have a child sex slave ring on
You can't prove a
Mars.
negative like that. So, but,
I mean, we all know that NASA has a sense of humor. They would not...
Right.
They would not have a secret child sex slave colony on Mars. It would be on Uranus.
It would be the last place anyone would look. It would be on the planet Earth somewhere. I mean, it's NASA. It's the last place anybody would look.
Yeah, no one would expect NASA to do anything on Earth.
Yeah.
But no, it's insane.
Except, well, it would be anywhere but Houston. They wouldn't have it in Houston, but anywhere else.
Sure.
Yeah.
But no, it's just, that's how insane things have gotten.
Yeah.
I mean, and NASA's reacted to things before. One of the most embarrassing
things just speak for themselves now. We can't joke about this. It's just, you just say it and it's funny. Like,
one of the most embarrassing things that NASA ever did was a guy landed a rover or something on Mars. First time it had ever been done, it was something important. And his shirt had Hawaiian women on it. And some blogger said, dude, whatever you did is cool or whatever, but your shirt's sexist. His shirt was made by a woman, a friend of his, given to him.
Wow.
And NASA made him, and he was almost in tears, go on television and apologize for his shirt.
Wow.
So NASA's all about to dumb internet things that have no validity and should not be given any credence.
Well,
but
and to be fair...
At least they're fair to both sides.
In their defense... Some of that is because they're worried about their credibility. And like people don't take NASA seriously enough. They don't get the funding they should have. So like they're really concerned about their image because they're worried that people don't give a shit about what they do and that space travel is not important and that we shouldn't prioritize exploring the galaxy and learning all that we can about space, and it's not a priority, and I think they don't have the image they should have.
It's because we as people got bored immediately. We went to space. Oh, there's nothing there. Okay, well I'm done with that.
It's that, and it's funding that they should be getting. That's
but the reason they're not getting that funding is because we, as a society, went to the moon and was like, oh shit, there's nothing here. And then we went to Mars and we were like, oh, there's nothing there either?
It's not
I don't care.
It's not just that, though, because there's been a lot of talk about, commercial space exploration. And so, behind the scenes, maybe this will sound conspiratorial, I'm not sure that there's not maybe some kind of funny business going on where we have certain, because this is the case in so many things, right? Where there are monetary interests for different companies to make sure that certain things don't happen. Somebody in the government might have a vested interest in making sure that NASA doesn't have the funding that they need. I don't know if that's true. I know that's true for other things.
Did you ever see the SpaceX rocket?
And now I'm talking about politics.
Well, that's not really politics. That's really vague, nonpartisan politics. Yeah. But did you ever see the SpaceX thing? Okay, so SpaceX is a private company. It's one of the people that are trying to get into space. And they built a rocket. And they've demonstrated it. It goes up. And it comes down. No pieces fall off. It doesn't have to all the things you associate with like rockets in science fiction. That's what they built. It is something that can come up and then come back down and land. It's really cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. They displayed it a couple of years ago, 2, 3. Jon Stewart was still on TV because that's where I first heard about it. But yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up something that is going to be real risky, but that's this show. So I'm going to do it.
Risky or risque?
Both!
All right.
Yeah! Spell it any way you want to! So, the risk here is of accidentally sounding sexist.
Oh.
I hope that I do not come off that way when I do this.
Sure.
But this was a conversation Eric and I were having earlier, and I thought, let's just bring it up on this show. Yes, I'm so excited.
It's therapy.
This
is video therapy.
I find some women that a lot of other men think are really attractive, not as attractive. Like, I just personally am not attracted to them. I don't mean they're ugly. I mean men have that are heterosexual have different tastes in different kinds of women, right? Is it okay to talk about our our differences in that without without looking like we're being womanizing or something?
I believe it is okay to be attracted to the opposite sex.
I find.
I think that's okay. I know. We're nearing the point where that might not be okay, but right now in 2017, I think it's okay. So
here's my thing, and also, I don't want to come off like I'm what's the word I'm looking for?
You hate old people?
I am married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just objectively, or I guess subjectively, when you go, do you think that woman is as pretty as I do? Okay, so my thing is there are a lot of there are some women that I'll see, particularly in movies and things, that everybody seems to think is the most attractive person in the universe, and I don't, because I either, and it goes both directions. I either can imagine
Liv Tyler the other way.
Yes, I can either Drew Barrymore. I can either imagine. Or now Drew Barrymore is a little different because she was a child actress, and so you do see that. But anyway, so with women where either I can see too much of what of how they looked when they were kids in their face, and that just immediately makes them less sexually attractive because. Now I'm thinking of them like a kid, or the other direction where I feel like I can imagine what they will look like when they're older, when they're in their 50s or 60s.
Mm-hmm. So this conversation got started.
And Eric does not have this.
No, this conversation got started. We were talking about Miss Tessmacher, who, along with Marty's mom, I considered to be like the first, like the sexual awakening kind of thing. Like that's the first woman I looked at where I was like, oh, women.
Yeah, and I don't get that.
Oh, I see. And when you said that the reason that you don't get that is because you can see what she would look like as an old woman, and she doesn't look good, which I think actually might be true. I think I've seen her as an older woman, but I don't have that. I see women in the place and time they are right now.
I'm just kind of imagining it for whatever reason. It just kind of and it's
a lot
of the time it's like a face. It's like a facial structure thing. With Liv Tyler has a baby face to me. I mean, like I look at her and I'm like, yeah, I know what you look like in kindergarten.
Okay, can I say something that might be entirely like male pig kind of thing?
That's what I was concerned about running into. Yeah.
No, but okay. So I'm all about boobs. Like that's my thing, and so
okay, that makes sense. Is that what it is?
I can't begin to like view Liv Tyler as like, well, she looks like a kid because the rest of her looks amazing.
But I'm just looking at her face, like.
And I mean, I'm not saying I don't look at women's faces. I do.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, I start there and I can't move from it with her.
Oh, see,
like even if she's wearing something really revealing, I can't go there with her.
This is gonna sound terrible. I start at boobs, then I go to eyes. Those are the two features that like I immediately eyes are really important. You've read my writing. I'm obsessed with eyes. I don't know why, but a
lot of people are.
That's how I view women, at least on an attractive level.
I view women.
That's how I view women. Is I start with boobs, I go to eyes. Okay. Those are the two most important features on a woman. At least for attractiveness, not for as a person, obviously.
Right. Sure. Mm-hmm.
But that explains Miss Tessmacher.
Yeah, and
not so much Marty's mom, but certainly.
No. It does that too because they go really overboard in various places where they enhance.
That's true. It's in
her
the car.
chest.
It's all about in the car.
And also in two.
Because she's got the. I was older.
Okay.
Yeah, that was all about in the car when I was a kid. Yeah.
No. I think with her, and here's the thing. This is going to sound hilarious. I think she's more attractive in Howard the Duck because I don't get I don't start with the age makeup because she starts as an older woman and then we see her. And okay, she is really attractive.
Yeah, right now she is.
So she's aged incredibly well.
Yeah.
No, I don't have that as much with her as I do the Tessmacher thing,
She's gorgeous.
If we have to go to that,
I mean, she's not the most beautiful woman in the world. Right?
If we have to go to that place, and I'll say this in
as
uncrude of a way as humanly possible, I like proportionate.
I mean, I like I like the what is the like? Oh man, it's gonna sound. I don't want to sound like I'm obsessed with like noir in the 40s, but it is the hourglass figure.
Yeah,
sure. I'm not about the skinny girls. Like, I like that thick
too.
Girls that have like curves and things. I'm just saying. I start at the boobs and then
so you're not
the rest of the body.
So you're like a Jessica Rabbit kind of guy.
Oh, I love Jessica.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. No, I'm all about.
Well, that's one place we can.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a man alive that swings that way.
That's one of my favorite jokes in Friends is when they make the list of celebrities that they're allowed to sleep with if they meet them, and Chandler has Jessica Rabbit. And she's like,
that's not a person.
And she's like, one, that's not a real person. Two, she'd never have you.
Have you ever heard? Since we're here, this show. Have you ever heard Zemeckis talk about the breast physics with that? It's
reversed.
It's reversed.
Yep, I have heard that.
And that is fascinating.
Yep.
And he could not believe it worked. And that's what made it work, because when she walked, it wasn't making sense to them. Like, there was something really off about it. Mm-hmm. And when they reversed it, and that's a real cartoony thing to do, mm-hmm. suddenly it made sense. It all came together.
Yep.
I just think that is absolutely fascinating.
Yep. No, all
never had an outlet to bring that up.
But I also think, okay, this is gonna go to a weird place. But I also think some of that, at least for me, is being raised on like anime and comic books and things like that.
Yeah.
And that is the most accentuated feature of all women in everything, especially in the 90s.
Well, of course you like the hourglass shape then, because I mean, because we also go overboard with hips and stuff.
Yep. And especially in the 90s, like we were really about that in the 90s. And that is my formative years.
Who would you say is movies or television is like for you the most attractive or woman you would have had a crush on in the 90s?
Oh, in the 90s?
Yeah. In the 90s.
I don't know. Going back to the 90s, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
Okay, I'll give you mine. Terry Hatcher.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree with Terry Hatcher.
God, I love Terry Hatcher.
Yeah, no, she's gorgeous.
She also still looks great.
Yeah, she does.
And she was in Supergirl this season. And she's just a lovely lady.
I also really like Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm in a minority on this when it comes to Friends.
I was more to Rachel. Yeah.
Most people seem to be, but no,
I guess. Yeah.
I've really got to think with Courtney Cox.
I mean, I think she's attractive too,
but yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody like really in the 90s then.
And Jerry Ryan.
Well, yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. But yeah, that's
what is your next thing?
My next thing.
We've got 5 minutes.
Let's see if my phone will.
5 minutes of playtime.
Let's see if my phone will hold out. I don't remember my next topic is. I was able to remember that one off the top of my head.
But. What is your next topic, sir?
I'm still on Daily Beast, which is the person that gave me the article about the secret child sex slave ring on Mars.
You guys want to see something that's bullshit? Look at this thing. So Eric and I were playing with this earlier.
You know
what this is? This was a Burger King toy, I think. Maybe McDonald's. I think it was Burger King. What does it say on the back? Does it say Burger King? Hey,
okay. This is
from Avengers, and it's a Black Widow bracelet. And first of all, it's nuts because it's big enough, even though it's for kids, that it fits around both.
Yeah, you were real self-conscious about the fact that it fits on your wrist.
I have tiny ass wrists, and it fits. And then Eric's like, "It fits my wrist too." And I was like, "Oh my god, that's amazing." But anyway, no, this seems like a real bullshit thing for Black Widow to wear around because all it does is give away her position
and have something hanging off it that makes noise and can catch on things.
Yeah, why would you want that? This thing is only dangling from this. So kids will immediately know what the fuck it is. That it's a Black Widow thing, and yeah.
Okay, so this thing
bullshit toy.
This thing that I threw on here is probably going to be real quick. I threw it on last time, and we didn't get to it.
Okay.
And you'll know exactly where it came from when I wrote it.
Ooh, cool.
Have you ever fallen asleep in a movie theater?
I do know where that came from.
Yep.
That came from Transformers.
That's when I wrote it because we recorded that night.
I hate to admit I have fallen asleep in the theater many times.
Really?
And, yes, yeah. I used to have a massive...
That's worse than texting. I'm suing you.
I used to have a big problem with falling asleep watching things. And if you turn out the lights, I'm a goner. I'm a dead man. And not anymore. I've really gotten over it. But there was a period of time I used to fall asleep watching things too often, and I conditioned myself, especially when I lived at the mortuary. But even when I was a kid, it's kind of like car trips. Like I used to fall asleep a lot on car trips.
I have done that to myself with reading. A lot of people do that with reading because they read before they go to sleep.
To this day, have that problem.
I've reconditioned myself, but that used to be a thing that I had where like I'd read before.
That's part of why I don't read as much as I wish I did. Is I get fatigued quickly. Especially if it's later and I'm
Are there
tired.
any notable films you have fallen asleep during?
The reason he thought of this was because there was this dude that fell asleep like 10 minutes into Transformers.
And stayed asleep the entire time.
Yeah. He woke up occasionally, and he would like look at the screen, and he'd just fall back. He was like, almost like, no. I'm sorry, what was that?
Are there any notable films you fall asleep during? In the theater?
Yes. Hellboy. I didn't like Hellboy the first time I saw it, and I slept through the last act, so what the fuck did I know? And then I watched it later and for the rewind, and I was like, the hell am I talking about? This movie's great!
Well, and that's the thing we talked about with Hellboy, that he talks about on the commentaries. Both you and I had this thing where like we were watching Hellboy in theaters, and we're like, this is like a fucking jigsaw puzzle. Like, how am I supposed to follow this? It doesn't make any sense. And Guillermo del Toro talks about that in the commentary for Hellboy 2, about how everyone thought Hellboy was really hard to follow. I don't know what we were all smoking. I don't know what
we were smoking. Is it because we've had enough movies sort of like that since then?
I mean, personally, maybe I've adjusted, because I've become kind of a Lovecraft guy, and I've gotten into the weird fiction thing. Maybe I've adjusted to some of that, but it's not. It's a real simple plot.
It's not like just because of the subject matter, you got a demonic thing with hell and stuff. And so, and mysticism and dark magic and whatever, so naturally it must be, like, the most convoluted thing imaginable. No, not necessarily.
Yeah, no.
I mean, if you're McFarlane, yes, but if you're
really straightforward.
Del Toro, not so much.
I remember walking out of that movie and feeling like...
And there are straightforward Hellboy
the movie
comics,
was played in reverse. That's what I remember my sentiment being was, the movie was like, the story was in reverse, and, like, I didn't understand it. I have fallen asleep during exactly one film.
Are you serious?
Exactly one.
Boy, it's a thing that used to happen to me all the time.
It's not a ding against the film, although I had never gone back and watched the entire thing.
Yeah, and it never necessarily meant the movie was bad or boring.
I fell asleep during How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Really?
I went with my friends, and I was doing the kind of thing where you just...
Yep.
And I don't know how the second half of that movie plays, but I believe it plays exactly the way I thought it did based on the trailers.
I can't think of any other movies.
And my friend kept elbowing me, and I thought he was trying to keep me up, and I found out I was snoring. And he kept waking me up because I was snoring. That was real embarrassing. I recently split with my ex-wife, and I don't know what I was doing, but at that point in time, I had quite a bit of money because I'd lost my job, and I'd got my 401k. And so I wasn't working or doing anything, and I might have just stayed up late the night before, but I was real tired, and I was falling asleep during.
Well, you and I have gone to movies that I was afraid I would fall asleep during because we had to go late, and I was just dead tired. And there have been movies that we've seen that I didn't really like a lot, and I was super tired, and I was kind of afraid that I would fall asleep. But, like, I thought I was going to fall asleep during The Founder, which I loved, but I was just, like, really, really super tired that night. And then you remember the night that I saw Lego Batman twice in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
When that came out. And I was kind of sick that day, but I had to see it twice for whatever. I honestly don't even know how that happened. I think it was the only way you were going to see it before we did the spoiler cast.
Spoiler cast, yeah.
Was if I took you that night, but I went earlier so that Jason could see it or something. I don't remember what.
And then we get to go after work.
Why?
Maybe it was for the How We Felt.
I thought that was smart. Yeah. But
anyway. Okay, so just side tangent because I'm sure we're not going to get to another topic.
Yeah, I'm going to do a real fast one.
Okay, never mind then.
But go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say if you ever walked out of the movie.
Almost.
Yes.
And you probably know which one. The movie I almost walked out of, and probably was because of the people I was with, and then the reason I ended up staying was because of the other people I was with that wanted to keep watching it. But it was District 9,
Oh, yeah, you hate that movie.
I hate that movie, yeah.
I have 2 movies I was forced out of, and one I wanted to leave, but I didn't because I was with my family. So, R.I.P.D. I was forced out of.
What?
I went with my ex-wife, and I was like, well, this isn't the worst thing I've ever seen. And she was like, this is terrible, we're leaving. And so we left. The other thing was also with my ex-wife, where we were having a spat of some kind. We got divorced, surprise. We were having a spat of some kind. We went to see Harry Potter, The Deathly Hallows Part 1, and I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But I was there, but apparently sometimes I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I guess I wasn't happy being there.
You were too huffy.
Yeah, and she was like, nope, we're leaving. So those are the 2 movies I actually walked out of.
So she made you leave because you didn't like it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, I didn't want to be there. It wasn't even...
I cannot think of a time that I have just gotten up and left. I can think of a number of movies I would have if I wasn't reviewing them.
There is one film that I would have left.
World War Z is one.
I can imagine.
I would have happily gotten up and left that movie.
There's one film that I would have left.
I did fall asleep during that. That was a nodding off thing, yeah.
There's one film I would have left.
Until it got fucking hilarious at the end. With the unintentionally amusing zombies banging up against the glass. It was supposed to be really scary. And there were like 12 of us in the theater, and we were all laughing hysterically. Part of the reason that I had such a weird watch for that movie was because everyone in the theater thought it was as stupid as I did, and were not taking it seriously at all.
The one film I would have left, like genuinely would have... I wouldn't even have left Transformers 5. Like, I kind of wanted to see where that train wreck went. It went nowhere. The one film I've genuinely, wanted to leave, but I didn't because I was with my family, was Happy Feet.
Really?
Happy Feet is vile, angry propaganda aimed at children, and the moral message is, if you are different and unique, and maybe, oh my god, is this what happened to the world? Does everyone see Happy Feet? If you're different and unique, do not be yourself. Make everyone fucking like you.
Yeah.
Because that's what the ending of that movie is he makes everyone do what he does.
I didn't see it because a lot of people hated it.
He can't be unique and himself and be comfortable. He has to make everyone else what he is. That's how that movie ends. And I hate it.
Yeah.
I once explained the moral of that movie to my friend as the opposite of the Lego movie, and he goes, well, that's the most horrifying thing I've ever heard. So what is your real
now, my wife and I did want to walk out of Transformers 2, but so didn't a lot of us, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, and Whiteout. Fucking Whiteout.
I've never watched it.
I should do a Whiteout rant, but I would have to watch it again.
You can make me watch
to really complain about it. But I won't make me watch it. I'll make you watch it, and then you can remind me what happened. Oh, yes, that's right. And now I'm getting livid and boiling. Okay, so real quickly, we're going to give Eric...
That's that movie about aliens, right?
No. Real quickly, we're going to give Eric a 5-question Star Trek quiz.
Oh, shit.
About things he's seen in Star Trek.
Tasha Yar?
That's what we're going to do. No, because you've not seen... Well, not recently.
Is that an answer, Tasha Yar?
Tasha Yar is not an answer.
Damn.
Okay, here's your first question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. What is the type of cake Troy is in Phantasms?
Mint with something frosting. It's mint with... It's like phosphorus frosting.
You're going backwards. You're going backwards. It's mint frosting.
Oh.
It's the kind of cake it is with mint frosting.
It's something. It's like phosphorus or like asbestos or like something like that.
Cellular peptide.
Cellular peptide with mint frosting.
With mint frosting. What is the name of Worf's brother?
Call?
No, it does start with a K, but that. Kern is his name. Commander Kern. Yes, indeed. All right. Who stabs Q in Deja Q?
It's Geordi.
Nope.
No?
In the hand. Someone stabs Q.
Oh, it's Data.
No.
No?
Nope.
Oh, no, I mixed up the Brain Parasites episode. That's what it is. I mixed up the Brain Parasites
episode. Yeah, no, Q. Q.
Yeah.
Q, Inton forward.
Who stabs Q? Is it Picard?
And nope. And you have seen Q who.
Yeah.
And Q who establishes a relationship.
It's what the hell is her name?
It's Guinan.
Guinan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's right. Name.
And she's so happy he's human.
Yeah. That seems great. And then 10 chocolate sundaes. Name the episode with the Wadi and their multi-shap board game.
Oh shit. It's because you kept referring to it by the title before we saw it. You're like, oh, it's this one.
Uh-huh.
And it's...
And they say it over and over again.
Yep. I can't remember. It's game time. I don't remember.
It's Move Along Home.
Move Along Home! You know what's funny is I couldn't remember Move Along Home, but there's a video somewhere on my channel where I make a joke that no one could possibly get, because it's a reference to a theme park ride at Universal Studios. There's a ride called Disaster Studios, and the gimmick of this is you're there and they pick people from the crowd and they do like some green screen stuff and they do this cool effect where it's actually Christopher Walken is the director at this making this movie. He makes disaster movies. He's got a rule book, and they have this rule where it's like, and we are, and then the crowd says moving on. And there's a video where I make that joke where I'm like, and we are moving on, and no one knows.
No one would ever know what you're saying.
It's a fun ride. The rocks in the so they do all this stuff where like
probably just sounds like you're suddenly being dramatic for no reason.
They pull people from the crowd and like they like drop like fake rocks on them and they have like people against green screen, and then you go on this train thing. That has like fake fire and like fake effects, and they're shooting you with a camera and everything the whole time, and then they show you a trailer that's everything that you've shot. So it's a pre-made trailer, but with shots of you people cut in, and the Rock's in it. He's a park ranger, and it's pretty amazing.
Last question.
Yes. Oh, was there one more Star Trek question?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
No, that's okay. I said 5.
We
did 4. No, you're fine. Last question. This is the hardest of them.
Okay.
You may not know this.
Okay. I didn't know any of the other ones either.
What is the name of Sisko's dead wife?
Lorelai.
No.
I don't. She only shows up in the pilot. I was here before I moved here.
Well, I mean, but her name comes up.
Does it start with an L?
No.
Kate.
Jennifer.
Okay.
Jennifer Sisko.
Okay. I would feel like
you could have known
Sisko is such a cool name. I would think his wife would also have like a more off the beaten path name.
Yeah, but he's just Ben.
Oh, yeah, Sisko's his last name, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's his last name.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, because if she was referred to as Sisko, you'd be like, well, she has such a cool name. Why is she married to Ben?
Yeah, why should you name your kid Jake? Well, we went a little bit over, but
For Star Trek
that was fun. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks a lot for watching, folks. We sure appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed tonight's episode of Geekvolution After Dark.
Tonight's entertainment.
Woo! And but we'll do the pencil trick next time. So anyway, we will be back with you again in 2 weeks for another one. Lots more videos coming up soon on Geekvolution. See you later. I'm assuming in the future, because
Geekvolution will still exist
for you folks. The future.
It'd be weird to imagine a future where Geekvolution didn't still exist.
I can't imagine.
But we uploaded this video still.
Yeah. Where it's like, well, we promised that we still have patrons, and they're all gonna leave pretty soon. But we promised them one more. We'll see you next time, folks. I am Captain Logan.
And I'm